Okay, Representative, what's going on here and why?
So, I'm just going to throw out some statistics for you. 2008, Denver Public Schools goes to Denver community, Latino community, African American community, asks for the raising of dollars for a bond program. Denver community says okay. $455 million is raised. Out of that $455 million, less than 1% has gone to general contractors that are Latino and African American owned. That's why we're here, because economic racism still exists in 2015. It is alive and well in Denver Public Schools. We're tired of it, and the people that you see behind me, these students and also the community members, met with Denver Public Schools in a series of meetings since 2008 and said, you have to change this.
Okay. I moved to Denver in 1975. And I worked at a really large law firm, and it was the firm that brought the Keys school busing case. And by 1988, while they had integrated the schools, they had not integrated the economics of the district. So Martin Luther King said in 1968 that while we had achieved civil rights, we had made no progress in the area of economic rights. So what we have going on now is economic racism. We've got 73% of the district student population are Hispanics and African American. Yet by our best count, we're getting less than 2% of the dollars spent by the district.
Economic racism. Some would say that's a strong term.
It's a valid term, it's a true term. Unfortunately, I wish it weren't. But for years we've been working with DPS and they failed to remedy the gross injustice they have in our community.
Where do we go from here?
Where we go from here is what you see young kids getting involved. We're hoping that we're going to do a spark in our community to demand accountability from the people that are leading DPS.
It's institutional racism, and what concerns me the most is that most of the people in the contracting area at DPS are minorities. They're black, Latinos. There's only a couple of Anglo men that work in the contracting area of DPS, and it's again going back to the definition of insanity, that they keep doing things the same over and over and over. After we met with them for months, sometimes on a weekly basis, they went and took this pilot program and just told us to go away. We wanted them to put certain people on the interviewing committee. They wouldn't do it. Same old people. They included one of the school board members and didn't give her a right to vote. So they do really despicable maneuvers to keep that bond money out of our communities, out of our black and minority and brown minority contractors, and it's wrong.
So I was honored, privileged enough to be a part of the beginning conversation in 2013 while I was still on the board, and I sat through a lot of what they presented, what the minority and women business enterprises have presented. I also was part of the board when the district would come forth, and I can't remember, it must have been October or September of 2013, with their data showing a much higher number. Can I be honest?
Please.
Given my history on reliability of the data supplied by the Denver Public Schools, my inclination would be to believe this data and not the Denver Public Schools.
Well, I own an architectural firm, and we've been, you know, I'm also a member of the CCAF group, and we've been dealing with Denver Public Schools now for 2 years, talking directly to Tom Boasberg and his staff about some dismal goals that they had met, you know, less than 1% of $455 million. I know as an architect in this community, having a business for over 34 years, that they had done no better in the previous bond programs. And so when you look at the last 3 bond programs over the last 15 years, they had $1.2 billion worth of work that was done in our community, and they only have statistics that show they've included less than 1% of Hispanic and African American firms. And you know, intuitively I said, this has got to be there's got to be something wrong with that, because there are qualified firms. As an example, my company, my brother and I, we hold 5 5 professional degrees. 3 of them, 3 master's degrees from University of California, Berkeley, one of the top schools of architecture in the country. I have 34 years of experience as a firm in Denver. We've designed many schools, a number of new schools, renovation projects and renovations and additions to schools, yet our company still can't break into Denver Public Schools. And they're telling you, you asked the question a little while ago, they can't find qualified people. How qualified do you have to be when you actually have more degrees than your competitors in the white community, and yet you still don't get selected on the projects?
And what brings you out?
I've been doing some studies on architecture and contractor licensing for minority and gender participation for each, for Denver, the state of Colorado, and nationally. And the figures aren't very good. And the reason why I'm doing that study is because I know very well that the city and the state are both committing racketeering due to bribery.
And so, in response to this protest and some of the statistics that are being presented, is there a response from DPS?
Yes, I'm not sure where they're getting the 1% information. DPS and our Board of Education commissioned a disparity study. We had a third-party MGT of America analyze our data based on 2009 and 2013 contracting. Based on that study, the findings reported anywhere from 8% to 24% utilization by the district.
And what are some of the projects that are utilizing minority contractors now?
Well, to the extent possible, all of our projects will utilize minority and women-owned businesses. So we do have a goals committee that's been commissioned to set percentages on projects. Those percentages are all based on the market. So they're based on availability in the market. And each project will be assessed and assigned a goal based on the type of project.
How is there such a gulf between what DPS is saying and what this organization is saying? Where did the divide happen?
I can't speak to that. I just can speak to the facts of the third party and their findings that was commissioned by the board.
And so your message to community would be?
My message would be that DPS does have a goals program in place, that we're passionate about the utilization of minority and women-owned businesses. We are working with our community. We also worked with CCAF to put a program in place for Swansea Elementary, where that project actually has a 70% goal that we've set for utilization.
They talked about in this discussion or at this press conference that they would like to seek a meeting with DPS and the community. Is that something you think will take place?
DPS has met with CCAF. We met with CCAF over a period of a year to actually put in place the Swansea project plan.
Any further words that you'd like to share?
I would just like to thank our community and thank them for their commitment and support of Denver Public Schools and our efforts toward utilization. I mean, as a minority and a female, I am personally very passionate about utilization, and we are committed to moving forward and increasing our diversity participation.